Hello pilots! In my attempts to master escalation solo with helicopters, I've been without final success so far. I first resolved to achieve partial success. An interesting target in this regard are the enemy StratoLance launchers. These have a range of 50 kilometers and are also used to defend against incoming pile drivers. So the idea was to weaken the enemy's defenses so that they could no longer do anything against the following pile drivers. Pala has two StratoLance launcher positions, one at Vigil K and the other at Agropole. Both are in principle well defended and cannot be attacked easily. After attacking the position at Agropole several times, I came to the conclusion that it would take too long to attack Vigil K afterwards, because then the air would already be full of revokers and ifrits. So I tried an attack on Vigil K right at the beginning of the round. There are two ways to take off: directly from SBGA, whereby you should not fly directly to Vigil K, but have to fly a big arc. Then there is the possibility to take off from North Boscali Airbase, which I decided to do. This route is enormously boring, as it leads mostly over water, but the little terrain up to the water offers a lot of protection, and as long as I stay close enough above the water, the enemy radar system should not be able to catch me. In addition to the attack on Vigil K, I also show how to neutralize the position at Agropole in the same match. Finally, I would like to show an attack on Agropole after the start of the round, whereby I defend the bridge beforehand. I wish you good entertainment. The approach from North Boscali Airbase is an enormous distance that consumes a lot of time. But the idea is simple: to be able to escape enemy threats as long as possible. The Shard-class corvette serves as a slight deterrent on the one hand, and on the other hand I thought it offered an opportunity to make a stopover later. During the approach over water I tried to stay below 10 meters so that the enemy radar would not notice me. On the final approach to Vigil K, I kept an IFV and a SAM selected as targets. Interestingly, not even the linebreaker SAM opened fire. The island then offers enough hills to escape the line of sight of the SAM unit. After reconnaissance of the MSV radar, I was able to lock onto it as a target and attack from cover with two AGM-48s. Since I didn't intend to fly back with 14 missiles remaining, I fired at other targets on the island. AGM-48s feel almost unfair here, because you can't be attacked yourself, but you can easily decimate your opponent. However, there are some units that are difficult to crack, because they are covered by others. And I lack the ammunition for mass saturation. So I spread my attacks and hope for 1 or 2 hits.
VRS.
No, it was a matter of getting back to the corvette unharmed to recharge the ammunition. Fortunately for me, the corvette managed to get a revoker out of the sky, so that I could make a stopover in peace. I let the corvette carry me a bit and waited until the sky was largely free of enemy airframes. Afterwards, I made my way to the island again. I wanted to at least neutralize the bolt strike there. To buy myself some time, I fired an AGM-48 at the Ifrit, not hoping to hit it. The missile is only supposed to ensure that the Ifrit aborts its direct attack on me, which worked. No, I wanted to approach the enemy at low altitude, and at the same time I had to fend off opposing attacks. Tutol also had fun with the attack, and I actually managed to survive with only minor damage to the chicane's nose. With a bit of luck, I also managed to shoot down all enemy airframes that had started. I fired my last missile at an IFV, then it was time for the flight home. Actually, I wanted to make a stopover again on the Corvette. The final destination was North Boscali Airbase, but I wasn't sure if the fuel would be enough. But on the approach to the Corvette, I was attacked several times by jets, which then began to attack the Corvette. Before I would be hit by incoming bombs or the like, I preferred to turn around and fly directly to the airbase. On the way, I had to dodge some radar-guided missiles, but thanks to ECM Jammer, that wasn't really difficult. This was not necessary for the attack, but it was essential to get back home. A look at the past mission time makes it clear why I think this tactic is inefficient. After more than half an hour, I just managed to weaken the air defenses at Vigil K. But well, the pile drivers haven't been fired yet and maybe they would do devastating damage. I hadn't tried it before, but I wanted to attack the MSV radar at Agropole from Maris helipad to neutralize the StratoLance launchers there. Two opposing Shard-class corvettes were still active on the water and the enemy SAM units. I wanted to fly around the corvettes and destroy the SAM units on the way. Then the idea was to somehow weave my way through to Agropole. When approaching the second SAM position, it was clear to me that it would shoot at me. Meanwhile, I'd also like to use flares to enable direct attacks and not just for defense. Since the SAM position was destroyed, I thought it would be a good idea to destroy the radar station as well. On my approach to Agropole, I was attacked by a shot. I could no longer dodge the incoming missile, so I decided to fend it off with an IR missile. I was then attacked by a mobile bow strike that crossed the bridge towards SBGA. I was able to use the terrain as cover and venture further. The defenses at Agropole were still fully intact, so I had to dodge many dangers while trying to attack the enemy position. To be on the safe side, I fired two AGM-48s at the linebreaker SAM, which turned out to be correct. I just wanted to manage to destroy the MSV radar and the anvil. My remaining missiles could be enough to saturate the targets. With a bit of luck I made it and made my way back home. However, the enemy didn't want to let me get away so easily and sent 2 Ifrits on my neck. I still had 2 IRM S1s and terrain that offered good cover. Admittedly, it could have been very different, but I was lucky and was able to take out both Ifrits, which allowed me to start my journey home. After more than 45 minutes, both StratoLance launchers were destroyed. I wanted to wait and see how it would affect the rest of the game. But in my next sortie in the match I was shot down and ended the game. I could have just keep watching, but I'm not smart. Now I would like to show once again how it behaves if you attack the MSV radar at Agropole as early as possible. In order to have a base to return to after the attack, you should at least fight the incoming convoy that drives over the bridge. So I did that, this time with a slight variance to the usual procedure because it is faster. After destroying the 4 tanks as usual, I did not fly under the bridge, but brought myself in a large arc to another attack position. This is useful for firing missiles at the convoy. For other sorties, I used the missiles to attack the vehicle depots and their defenders. After I had attacked all the targets, there was still 1 anvil left that I wanted to attack again, but allied units beat me to it, which is why I was able to make a stopover to recharge my ammunition. Now I made my way to the MSV radar. On the way I wanted to do my usual reconnaissance route via the vehicle depots. Maybe it would be useful later. Before I could attack the MSV radar, I had to destroy 2 SAM positions. Low approaches help to save flares, although you have to expect to have to use some. After the linebreaker SAM was destroyed, I was able to take the MSV radar and the anvil position next to it under fire. I fired all missiles because the enemy defenses were still intact and I wanted to saturate the targets. The way back was not so easy. The enemy shards were about to reach SBGA, which prevented me from flying back the same way I flew there. So I decided to fly an arc over the mountains in the east to approach SBGA from the east. That worked quite well, so that I could land safely next to the helipad. In conclusion, I would like to summarize that the chicane is quite capable of destroying all kinds of targets, but it takes an enormous amount of time to do so. I had a lot of fun with these challenges and the chicane can operate precisely like a scalpel, which I like very much. But progress alone is enormously tough. I suspect that skilled jet pilots can perform all the attacks I've shown in a fraction of the time, making the chicane obsolete. Nevertheless, I think it would be cool to play a co-op game where no one is allowed to die and everyone has their own special sortie, so that after 50 or 20 minutes many critical targets were destroyed. That would certainly take a lot of practice, but for me it would be a community highlight. I would like to thank everyone who has watched so far. Maybe we will be able to bring about such a joint action. Until then, have fun flying and don't forget, fly safe.